Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. Greek day today. I've got 6 Greek wines in front of me. 5 of them are from the Lerorakis winery in Crete. I've done some of their reds before, they were pretty tasty, and I've done one of their whites before, it was a sweet one. But I think all the ones today are going to be dry, we shall see. But the first one I've got is not from them, it's the Semeli Mantinia Nasiakos 2011, and the grape here is Moscofilero. So let's just dig in. I've got them arranged vintage order and then alcohol. So this is 2011, weighing in at 12% alcohol. And it's got that fresh grapiness of the Muscat grape. I'm not quite sure where Moscofilero fits into the Muscat family, but it's got that really sappy citrus grapiness. It smells like it's going to be delicate, fresh, lively, but refreshing. Good. And that's just what it is. Clean, fresh, sappy, lovely summer day wine. I don't think you really need to have too much to eat with that. It's really nice by itself. There's some crispness there, so if you did want to have it with munch it with a few nibbles and stuff like that, wouldn't be a problem. But as it is, it's got that nice combination of crispness but a bit of weight behind it. So you know you're drinking something, but you're not overwhelmed by it. Anyway, let's get on to the Lerorakis wines. I don't think any of these is available in the UK at the moment, so if they're good, well, maybe they might start sending us some of them. First one is called Plyto, P-L-Y-T-O, I think that's the name of the grape variety, and 2011 is it? We got, yes it is, and weighing in again at 12% alcohol. Can't really tell you a lot about the Plyto grape variety. This is probably the first wine I've had made from it. I stick my nose in there and it smells clean and fresh, but it hasn't got that aromatic lift that the first one has. I should probably have done this one first. It feels like it's going to be a nice, fresh, but slightly simple wine. Actually, it's a bit better than that. Reminds me of some of those southern Italian grapes where it's maybe not amazingly aromatic, but then when you come to taste it, it's got this real presence and weight and a waxy texture, things like walnuts in there. So whereas overt fruit maybe isn't its forte, it has got some citrus, it has got some apple, maybe even a little bit of something a bit more exotic like passion fruit. It's more this textural thing that carries through, and I do like it. Yeah, I do like it. So probably like it as much as the first one. I mean, they wines for different occasions. I think that will probably need a bit of food to show it its best, because it's got this quite creamy texture. I imagine having something like that with a seafood risotto. Next one, you will see not maybe a finished label, Lerorakis Acertico Inox. That just means it's been fermented in stainless steel rather than being anywhere near an oak barrel, and I'm presuming it's 2011 in the absence of any other guidance towards what it can be. Now I think of Acertico as being the main grape of Santorini, some terrific wines made there, but let's see how it gets on in Crete. There's a crispness and freshness here. It's maybe not as tangy and minerally as the Acertico I associate with Santorini, but maybe it feels like it's a bit weightier. So it's more on that peachy edge, peach and pear. Maybe a comparison would be if the Acertico from Santorini is Sauvignon from the Loire, then this is Sauvignon from Bordeaux. And it's pretty good actually. What I like about it is it has got the crispness, but it's got quite a bit of weight behind it. So maybe I'd be looking at my Acertico from Santorini as a fish wine, and maybe this is a sort of more white meat wine. But what it's got is it's got this pear, the peach, and I was talking about the texture on the previous one. It's got more of that too. More presence in the mouth, more richness and roundness. I'm not sure of the alcohol, as you can see from the label. It doesn't give all that much away, but good wine. I like it. And again, a lot of those in common with those southern Italian wines. Reminds me a bit of Fiano. Nice. Next one, it's Octo dry white wine, Vin Blanc 2011, again 12.5% alcohol. Grapes here, Villana, which is one of the ones that they use in Santorini, and but it's also got white muscat and Sauvignon Blanc in there. Give it a whirl. Now I'm not sure what Villana brings to the party. Sauvignon I think of as being an aggressive, well not aggressive grape, but sort of assertive grape. But it's the muscat that's really coming through in the way that I got that grapey aromatic character on the first one in the Moscofilero. Here it's that, yeah, it's that grapiness that's driving it, but maybe there's a little bit of the Sauvignon more herbal mineral character coming through behind. As I say, I'm not sure where Villana comes in. Does a rather good impersonation of Gewürztraminer. That combination of the grapiness of the muscat and there's some oiliness that's come in there from somewhere. Maybe that's the Villana, and then that slight shriekiness of the Sauvignon Blanc. It's okay. I think I prefer the previous two probably. I almost find it's one of those wines that's got a little too much flavour for a wine of this weight. I'd want to wouldn't be really quite sure what to do with it. The previous two I'd happily sit and slurp away, and I know a lot of people would too. Here I imagine it will be a room divider. Some people will like it, and other people will dislike it for precisely the same reasons that the first lot will do like it. Does that make sense? Ish. Final two. Can't really tell you too much about them apart from Thrapsatiri is a grape variety, and this is 2011 Thrapsatiri Army Vineyard. I think Army, it's something to do with slopes. I think it's the top end of a slope, one of their highest vineyards. And as for the Thrapsatiri grape variety, well, this is my first encounter with it, so I can't promise to tell you what varietal character I'm expecting. Let's just stick my nose in and see where we get on. Intriguing. Intriguing is one of those words that you sort of shove in when you think, I'm not sure whether I like it. And I really am not sure whether I like it. There's some bits of it I go, that's really interesting. There's some bits I think, is that a bit over the top? So the interesting bits are the waxy walnut skin. I was talking about that character on the Polito. I get more of that here. But it feels like as if they've done a little bit of skin contact here to flesh out the wine, and maybe in the process got a bit too much, slightly bitter tannins extracted from the grapes. Also, I'm not sure whether it's been near a barrel. It says on the back this wine can age well. It doesn't say anything on the back about a barrel, but I'm just wondering whether there's a little bit of barrel fermented component here. And then, as I swirl it, more and more comes out. It's interesting that I'm getting more of those pear and peach characters that I was getting in the Acertico. And this, richness, grapiness. It reminds me quite a lot of some of those blends that people put together in Friuli in northeast Italy. And again, with those, I'm never quite sure. I find them distinctive, but I'm never quite sure how much I like them. Lots of power and presence in the mouth. I don't find too much bitterness there, so that looks good. And for a desperately young wine, I mean, this is 2011. It says it ages well. I can imagine that it feels like there's some bits in there that are really quite gawky and need to calm down. What I'm not quite sure is where it will end up. So there's this nuttiness, there is this, the pear, the just right peach, maybe more on the nectarine, maybe even the green gauge side. Slight herbiness. I find it, I'm going to use this word again, intriguing. But I'll keep an eye on that, because that's something that, having not come across the wine before, I'm not sure where it's going and whether I want to follow it there. Final wine's another one where I'm really not quite sure what's going on. It's the label that says Forforas, which is the name of a village, 2010, wine from old white vine trees, and the rest of it is all in Greek. There's something on the back that just says 100, so I don't know whether that means the vines are 100 years old or the vine vineyards are at 100 metres. Let's just dig in and see where we get. Well, I've just looked at the label of this, and whereas the previous ones have been, the first four were like 12.5%, then 13. This one's up at 14.5% alcohol, and it's quite golden in colour. And when I stick my nose in, there's this honeyed, honeyed, really ripe chirimoya custard apple type of character, as if there's some late harvest fruit in there, maybe some apricots there, peaches, very ripe crystallised orange, very ripe stroke crystallised orange, vanilla. It smells intriguing, but not different intriguing from the one before. I just better taste it, haven't I? Well, it's a big beast. Lots of vanilla. It's got this very ripe, juicy, slightly oily tropical fruit. It's got the pineapples. It's got the mangoes, a bit of pawpaw. It's got a slightly fresher edge, but it's very ripe citrus, very ripe oranges. And it's got some of the waxy walnut that I found in some of the previous wines from Lirakis. My concern, I suppose, is what do you do when you've got a wine that's like that? It's like the character of the ripeness is almost that little bit too dominant. There is this rounded sweetness, and I'm not quite sure whether there is some residual sugar there or whether it's just that high alcohol and the very ripe fruit that's giving the impression of sweetness. Good and fascinating, but in terms of the wines that I'd want to go away and definitely drink tonight, maybe those last two aren't among them, but they're the wines I'm going to sort of keep coming back to over the next 2 or 3 days and find out what happens to them, and I will report back because I find them, to use that word again, intriguing. Hope you found this video intriguing, and I will see you soon.